So I bought this moisture meter for wood, and it works for building materials such as this, as well as wood, like this. And the way you do it is you press this to turn it on, and you can see that little tree there. That would be for trees or wood or, you know, stuff like that. And the other one, when you press it again, a little house shows up, and that's building materials, so it's for stuff like this. So it also gives you the temperature. I don't know if you can see that, the temperature outside. So it's 66.3 degrees. Now I get this off by pushing up on the front, and then you pull these little tabs out. And since it's on wood, I'll take a moisture meter reading of the wood. Just stick the two prongs in there like that. And this says it's, well, let's do it again. Prongs in there. It is 8.7%. So this is dry, very dry. Now press it again and I'll go to, whoops. Actually, it might have been on building materials. Let me do that again. Go here. And this is 8.4. Press it again and go to trees or lump. That's what that is, a tree. Little icon. Stick it in there. 9.3. So believe it or not, there's more moisture in this 9.6 than there is in this building material, and maybe because they kiln dry it, but it does give you the percentage. And then this is on, that's on the top row, and this is on the bottom row, and it will tell you your you know, the percentage is very low. Even on this one, goes up to 40%, from 0 to 40%, and then this one 0 to 60%. So I'll do that again here, and you can hold it. Well, straight down it's 11.2. So max, does a maximum, 10.4, press it again, does a minimum, 8.3. So there's variables with this particular meter. This is Tavool, Tavool, something like that. And there's a temperature gauge, or hold actually. So turn that off again, and I can press that off. Hit this. It's 11.5 straight down. Press the hold button. So it's holding the percentage. So if I have it in an awkward place, I can hold this, so pull it away and look. But if I don't have that, if I don't press the hold, that won't stay there. So press it again and it goes away. Now, interestingly, when you go into the edge of a board, it reads a different reading. That was 10.7, the other one was 11. Well, maybe it's just more wet on this side. Let's try this side. 10.3, straight down in. 9.1. Let's try it over here. 10.4. Let's try it on the opposite side. 10.4. 11. Still 11 is good to work. This thing even feels dry, so I'm sure it would be fine. All in all, I'd say this is a pretty good meter. And you also have these settings over here. But you can also do Fahrenheit, and I'm in the US, so I'm choosing Fahrenheit right there, but I could change it to Celsius. So Celsius 20.4, Fahrenheit 68.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Can also, there's a guide that gives you these numbers down here. So if I'm measuring spalted maple, I believe the measurement for that is a C. Now let's take the measurement again, same measurement, but that helps you get an idea of let's try that, 8.5. that's the same. I might have had it on C before, but if I switch this, let's go to like F, see what happens if I press F. It's a little less percentage. So F may be a specific category to tell me what kind of wood. Let's say it's something dense like walnut or cherry or bubinga. These numbers down here may read different, and it goes A through H. So if I look at the directions, which are pretty extensive, I mean, I was glad that it came with directions, but here you have specific. This is a spalted maple, so it doesn't show me spalted maple. That would be over here. No spalted maple, but it does show me maple. So as a rule, I would go M. Maple sugar, which tends to be soft, that's harder. They're still in the A category. So press this. Oops, go backwards. Whoa. Okay, stop. Okay, A. Now, press this again. 9, 9, 10. So it's a little lower. So I believe when you have it on A, according to these directions, that you don't need to have as high a percentage. You should be a little bit around 11. Some wood you can go higher. But this is a pretty cool tool all in all. I just wanted to share this with you, and I got this and I like it. Well, I might have had that on wood. Building materials, rather. Still not too far away. Okay, so you just press it, hold it, turns off, and I'm saving these little guys because I don't want those pins to get damaged. And whenever I find the other one, I'll put it on and then snap the cap on. So this is a piece of box elder maple, and you can tell by these red markings through it. If you flip it over, you can really see them. But you ask yourself, what in the world are you going to do with this piece? It is really awkward, but it has this gorgeous burl on it. From the, here it's really amazing. And this is from the underneath, right underneath the cambium layer, right underneath the bark. So gorgeous, gorgeous piece. So my idea is to make it as a leg, because I've got this other piece, which I'll show you in a minute after I do meter testing. Because I got this nice new meter, so I'm gonna, well, maybe I'm not. Pop the top, take the two protective pins out, protective rubber pieces. They protect the points from getting damaged. So I'm going to put those in my box. Now I got to turn it on. And I don't want building material, I want wood. So I'm going to take this thing and stick it right in there. 10.8%. Now, because this is maple, they're saying it should be a C. So you see this A, I'm going to go here, here, and now test again. So it's 12.3. Now I got this a year ago, this wood. So I could probably work with 12.3. Let's see what it says on the other side. 12.6. Okay, it should be less at the bark, and I don't want to press too hard at the bark area because I don't really want holes there. I'll stick them in where those holes are. Okay, it's about 12, between 12.5 and 12.3 and 13. So the meter's doing a really great job. And I'm going to press that again, and I'm going to show you what it turns out to be if I use, like, I bought this at Lowe's. And it's just regular wood, so let's see what it meters for that. Now, that shouldn't be on A. It doesn't give me A, B. So, remember those numbers down there? It doesn't give me those numbers because that's strictly for wood. But this is for building materials, and boy, it's dry, 6.2. So, very dry. I don't know if you can tell. There's a meter up there. So, look, it's down here at 0 because it's so low. See how it goes up? Okay, so let's go back to the tree, which is wood, and see where that goes. Well, let's go back to C. Oh, it's still on C. Got to go back to C. C. Stick it in the end. Okay, so it's 12%. So you can research whatever wood you're using to see what percentage it should be in order for you to use it effectively for building something. In this case, this is going to be a leg. So I'm going to press and hold, turn that off, put the little rubber things back on to protect it. I think this was about, I don't know, $20, $25, something like that. I'll put a link below to where I purchased it, and I am an Amazon affiliate, but I don't make much with it, but I'm sure everybody tells you, they know that you don't make much. Anyway, rightly so, it's not my stuff. I'm just leading you to the link, but, you know, do what you want. You want to get it on your own, fine. Whatever works for you. So I'm going to, got this on wood, got it on C for maple. I'm going to test this top to see if it's the same as the leg. This is 13. 12.7. Now you can hold this. You can tell it's a hold. So when you pull your thing away, it'll hold that meter reading that it took. Just kind of neat. So I'm going to turn that off. See, it went off there. I'm going to test it again on the sides. 13.6. It's been sitting around for a year. Ooh, 15.2. That may be too wet to work with. And this one is 14.4. I'll hold it. Okay, 14.4. So that's probably too wet. And it's probably still, that crack wasn't there when I put this in here. Meaning that crack wasn't there. And that all happened because it moved out from the pith. Now I could have put something like armor seal on this piece. And why would I put it on this? Because this is end grain. Typically you put it on the end grain, but it's not a plank, it's end grain. I do have some planks, which so this thing cracked right here, and it goes all the way up. This is probably 10-12 inch crack, and it's not even. I can tell you it's going to require a lot of sanding, but this is gorgeous. It's end grain though. If it were long grain, it wouldn't do that. I'm going to test some long grain right now. Same material, same purchase, but it's long grain. So this is the tabletop that I'm going to use, but it's really uneven. I can tell you it's going to take a lot of work. It was cut on a sawmill, so it's all the same thickness, but it's warped in. And I don't know what in the heck happened here with these scratches, but that would all have to be worked out. And I would probably fill this hole over here with resin. And this is a pretty good crack. Let me flip it over. Yeah, so it cracked at the pith. Pith is where the water for the tree comes up and feeds, and then it goes out to limbs and things like that. But, you know, it would all have to be sanded flat. It's not going to go through my planer, I can tell you that. My planer is only 13 inches wide. So it's uneven. So this is all going to have to be sanded by hand, and then flipped over and tested and flipped over and tested. Now this workbench is dead flat, so I can come in here and test to see if it's uneven. But I love this part on the edge. Those are pretty sharp. I would sand those flat. But I think you can see how this is live edge, and then the other side is live edge, and I would have to decide. This is a bit funky over here. So I could take this, I took the bark off, it was nasty, and make it, cut it, sand it so it was going in this direction and not that direction, but that direction, so it kind of mirrored this stuff. So it's, the bevel is going out, because I think that's better. And how I would hook this leg up would be right like that. And you can see, I'd probably just leave those over. I'd smooth them down because they're definitely rough. And you don't want to cut yourself on them, but this is how I do it. Now, that would make that. I'm going to try and get my ruler out of here and tell you how tall this would be. That is, whoa, tipping. That would make this about 26¼ inches tall. So it may not be for a desk. I might have to make a chair to accompany it. I think that might, you know what, you got to research how tall a desk should be. But it's a gorgeous piece, and it's the kind of desk that you would use to, you know, do simple writing on. But I just think it's gorgeous. I might just keep it for myself. So I'm going to turn off the hold. And these are the long grain boards. And see where that takes us. These have been outside. 13, 20, 12.8. I don't know if going through the bark will matter. 14. 15.4. I'm going to try it here at the end. These I did paint, but it obviously hasn't made a difference. That's just the whole button. 15.7. I still think these are too wet, and this has been sitting here for a year. So, you know, between 12.5 and 15, that was the highest marking. That one is 13.8. 13.7. I'll have to do some research on box elder in particular to see if that will work. They all look pretty flat. They all look pretty flat. They've been stored underneath this tarp here for the year and outside. That's good. So it's between 12 and 14. I just bought a new mini angle grinder, it's called a Paxson 39815 cordless angle grinder, and I will do a review on that as soon as I get it. It's supposed to be in a couple of days. So I sanded down 80, 120, and then 220, and now I'm just going over it with mineral spirits, as you can see, and just showing you the detail in this thing. It's really beautiful. So I had some leftover solar maple I made these legs out of. And of course, this is the waterfall area. And nice textured skin, I don't know. But I'm thinking might be a little wobbly. I might need to put another leg back here, but it wouldn't prevent it from going that way. So I wouldn't prevent it from going, I don't know, we'll have to see. But that's it. I'm gonna urethane it now. Then I'll fill those holes, or maybe not. So I got my first coat of urethane on this, polyurethane, so it doesn't change the color, which I really like, especially those reds. This is box elder maple. That is a real pretty wood. And I'll give it a light sanding once this dries and put another coat on it. But I am thinking about putting a piece of wood across here. You know, from here to here maybe, to give it more stability. Might not look great, but it'll definitely make it more stable. So something like, not this piece, but something like this. Maybe a piece of this. This is maple, silver maple. And then maybe put a piece of that, about that long there. That should stabilize the table. So I cut this off of another hunk of same material as this. It is spalted maple, and I'm going to attach it down here. Once it dries, I just sprayed a varnish on it. It's probably not going to look identical, but that's okay. It'll protect it. So I filled this crack with black milliput, and it'll take a little bit to dry. I'm trying to scrape it even, but I'll have to sand and buff it down and then go over it with another coat of the wax. But then it will be finished.